So today on Straight Talk, I'm with Dr. Gavin Macgregor Skinner, who is the director of GBAC with ISSA. And good to see you, Gavin. And today we're going to talk about a couple of things. One is uh, something that I saw on the CDC website and on social media is getting quite a bit of chatter. And it's about the way the coronavirus is transferred from a person to another person. And here's what I saw on the website, and you can comment on this. It says that the primary and most important mode of transmission for COVID-19 is through close contact from person to person. So from that, it makes sense to wear a mask and be safe, as we've talked about before. And we know there's that 6-foot barrier we're encouraged to have. And I believe, everyone's calling it social distancing, and you like the word physical.
Physical distancing. That's what we do. We're still social, Jeff. We can still talk to each other, but it's physical distancing.
Yeah, so maybe that'll catch. Maybe some people run with that terminology. Yeah, I don't think it's very social when you talk about distancing, but we can still talk. But here's the point, Gavin. It says this on the website: the virus may be spread in other ways. It may be possible that a person can get COVID-19 by touching a surface or object that has the virus on it, and then touching their own mouth, nose, and possibly their eyes. So, we've been talking about the surface contact, and you touch it and you touch your face, but people are wearing masks, but they're not wearing the eye protection. And is that something you guys talk about in your GBAC classes, the eyes?
Yes, Jeff, this is really important. I just want to go back to that CDC statement and how it is important to look at the language being used. One, it starts off with, it is thought. Then it says, it uses the word maybe. And then it says possibly. Now, we're scientists. We work with what we know and what we don't know. And the implications we have when we're trying to break the cycle of transmission by protecting the eyes, nose, and mouth, our holes, we need to either know what we know and do it, or we say, we don't know this, so do it until we know differently. So when you're using the word possibly, I don't like that. It's guys, do everything you possibly can. Now, again, I use the word, but do everything you can to protect your eyes, your nose, your mouth, to protect yourself from being infected. So it's very important that we start ensuring that people wear eye protection on their eyes, just like we do in hospitals. But if we're at home caring for a COVID-19 patient, wear eye protection. If you're in a nursing home, wear eye protection. If you're on a plane where there's someone coughing, by gosh, I have my face covering on my nose and my mouth, and I have a face shield or something, or goggles on my eyes to protect my eyes. I do that all the time.
Yeah, I see the point. If you're talking to someone and there's that possible droplet transmission, your glasses are going to protect you. But Gavin, there's so much confusion. I took a link to an article that it seemed like the CDC was a little confusing. I imagine nothing's really changed, but it seemed like we're downplaying the surface transmission of the virus. And so people on social media are like, well, what do I believe now? If someone touches a surface, how dangerous is that to contact or contract a possible virus? Is it mainly going to be through coughing or sneezing, or is there a real danger with the surface of objects?
That's really a really good question, Jeff. Why is the World Health Organization, the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, telling everyone to wash your hands properly, effectively, which at least takes 20 seconds. It may take longer. To do it frequently, which is throughout the day, whenever you touch it. Why have we been told that message? Because we know that the virus loves skin. We know that we've seen the New England Journal of Medicine. The New England Journal of Medicine is one of the most renowned journals in the world. Whatever gets in there, it's probably the truth. And we know it published an article on how long the SARS-CoV-2 virus, the virus that causes COVID-19, the disease, can last and can live or remain active on surfaces. And it's not hours, it's days. And that message hasn't changed. It's still protect the eyes, nose, and mouth, and still wash your hands and don't touch your face. So we know the virus is outside of the body, on surfaces, it still remains there, and it can be infectious. Unfortunately, we aren't able to quantify that, and that's where more research is required.
Yeah, we do need that, but it makes sense that things don't change overnight. We still should wash and clean, as you mentioned. What about when we're wearing a mask or gloves? How long should we wear them? How often should we change them?
Oh gosh, I don't know, Jeff. The thing is, these things smell and stink after a while.
If you don't know, we don't know.
No, it's just, you know, again, if I'm in the hospital or a nursing home, I'm going through mask all the time. I'm really worried about transmitting virus on the mask because the mask does its job. I wear an N95 respirator mask that actually protects my nose and my mouth. And I change that regularly. But again, we've seen there's problems with supply chains. The challenge we've had for the 330 million people in the US is we've told them everyone to wear a mask, and we're seeing great innovation, people wearing masks, trying to do their best. We have so many people in this country that have now been infected with SARS-CoV-2 and caused the COVID-19 disease. We should have better data. We should have better information about what cloth is better. Is it a t-shirt? Is it cotton? Is it nylon? Is it rayon? Is it some other material? What works better? We don't have that information. There are some other research from previously that we can look at, but again, right now, there are still some really big unknowns that we need to actually work towards to get answers for.
Yeah, I've been wearing this one for 2 weeks. Is that too long?
Well, how many mints do you chew a day, Jeff? Because I know that when I'm wearing my face shield, like my covering, my face mask, there, a procedural mask or surgical mask, I'm chewing cough drops, mints all the time, because after a while, if I sweat or I start speaking, that it starts to get a bit stinky after a while. So if it gets
Yeah.
dirty, I change it.
Now, this one hasn't been really used. I'm just joking, but I think the point is we do want to change them. I bought a couple of boxes of these, the disposable ones. And it's funny how when you're around people, you open it up and you say, does anyone need some? It's like candy. It's like, oh, this is great. And they start grabbing the handfuls because we need them in today's world.
And they're hard to get. And
Yeah.
that's why so many people are being innovative and making their own. And I applaud them for that. I think that's amazing. What I'd also like to see is people start making those plastic face shields. I think that again, protect the nose and mouth, but also protect those eyes. That's important.
All right. So whoever's watching this, the cleaning professionals that we represent and try to help, masks, gloves, PPE, eye protection, as much protection, it can't hurt. Let's talk about one more thing, Gavin, and that's the plexiglass barriers we're seeing everywhere. You go into a convenience store, you go into a restaurant to get your takeout, they have this plexiglass. On a golf course, they're putting plexiglass in the golf carts, so you get in your golf cart, one on each side, and you have that physical barrier. So that has to be good, but what about cleaning those surfaces? I think you have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's a great question, Jeff. We know that physical barriers like plexiglass, shower curtains, anything will protect for those droplets. You know, we know when people cough, they sneeze. When they're talking, we now know that the virus actually comes out of the person who's infected and can stay in the air for quite a while. Putting up a physical barrier, though, prevents those droplets from actually then moving throughout the air, the room, other areas, and infecting people that could be exposed by contacting their eyes, nose, and mouth. So again, the plexiglass barriers we're seeing, they're everywhere now, and I think that's fantastic. The challenge that I have with people is that the discussion I'm having is, when do we clean them, and how often do we clean them, and how do we clean and disinfect that plexiglass? It's like in the room where I'm sitting right now, in my basement. Do I need to clean and disinfect the ceiling? No, because I don't touch it. Do I need to clean and disinfect right now at the top of the walls? No, because I don't touch it. And so it's important that the virus doesn't have wings, and so it won't fly off surfaces. So those plexiglasses, as long as they don't look visibly dirty, if the virus attaches to a plexiglass surface, it's going to stay there, and over time, by dryness, it will become inactivated. That envelope will break down, and it's no longer infectious. In a situation where people are touching the plexiglass, you have to then clean and appropriately disinfect that on a regular basis. But if the plexiglass is not being touched, my discussion is, again, let's not overburden the system, which is already has too much to do. Let's look at practical physical barriers. Plexiglass is a good one, and put them up and work out how often we have to clean them based on our risk assessment. And the whole ISSA GBAC approach is doing things appropriately based on risk assessments. If you don't touch it, then how often do you have to clean it? Is it once a day, every second day? But it's not every hour.
Yeah, I imagine that in some buildings, though, it could be very frequently because like a casino, we have people gambling. If there's plexiglass barriers everywhere, people are moving around. That could be a bigger issue than one that's occasionally used. Or what about children who might go up to the glass and put their hands on it? So if there's that.
Well, hopefully children aren't going to casinos right now.
No, not casinos.
But the point is that we're using plexiglass in the supermarkets.
Hmm.
Seeing them in restaurants. We're seeing them in hotels. You go to a hotel reception now and there's a big plexiglass there. In the nursing homes, we've put plexiglass at all the desks where the receptionists or the administrative staff sit because it provides that physical barrier. Yes, here, because we actually can see the visible droplets. We can see the droplets on there. We would clean them appropriately first and then use an appropriate EPA approved registered disinfectant that inactivates this virus. Yes, we do. Again, I think if we're going to start putting them into casinos and areas like that, we might put a sign on, don't touch the plexiglass, just put a big red cross on it. Don't touch this. Again, the physical barriers are needed to prevent that droplet spread. But also, again, we've got to really think this through based on our risk assessment. Don't overburden the house cleaning staff, which already have a lot more stuff to do than they did in 2019.
No, it's good advice. They're very busy, and things are going to get just busier for them as they try to cope with the extra cleaning across the board. So, well, Dr. Macgregor Skinner, appreciate the time with us today, and we'll talk virus another time.
Thanks, Jeff.